All right, all right, all right. Hey, Adam. Great to have you here. Let's have a look. How can we grow specific companies? Let's see what companies do we have available. The idea is that we look at the different companies that we admire, that we've put on the lists, and then we randomly select the one, and then we brainstorm on what would we do, how could we help them grow if it was up to us, if we were in charge of um, improving their revenue, improving their numbers, what would we do? um, can you maybe show like whom do we have on the list today?
Sure, thanks. Hello again. Let's see what the wheel says today. So, so the companies are Jones Road Beauty, Steamy AI, Suno, Source, Duck Design, ClickUp, Graza, and Midday Squares.
Awesome.
We have some interesting companies here, a few different fields. So let's see where we land. All right.
Look at that.
Yeah, ClickUp it is. Uh,
Cool. Cool.
I think you're still the user, right?
Course, like I'm a power user. I got like all the badges that they offer, and like I believe like business or business plus subscriber for about a year now. Yeah, I mean I love ClickUp. It took me probably 4 attempts to start using it. I always wanted, like, I loved the promise of one app to rule them all, or like one app to have all the context. Although it was a bit overwhelming to start. Once I got through the challenge of setting it up properly and onboarding the team and so on, yeah, it does exactly this, and it's amazing to have it all in one place. Previously, like, we would use Slack to discuss things, and then, like, I don't know, like different tools to store our documentation. It's so good to be able to mention in chat specifically the task that we're talking about, and so on. So yeah, totally. I love ClickUp. Looking forward to having a closer look at their acquisition and their growth, and yeah, and discussing how would we grow this if it
Yeah,
was up to us.
I remember when when you added me to ClickUp, and I was just like, I got into it, and it was just so big. I was like, what am I doing here? And
Yeah.
I was just going through the chat, just trying to find my way through it. And I'm sure I probably like found only 40 or 50% of the whole app.
Yep.
So it's pretty huge, it's pretty useful, but at the same time it can be overwhelming.
Yes. I think that so then it's one challenge to let's say for the person who takes a chance or takes a decision to switch to ClickUp. It's one thing, and we have to onboard the individual, but then you onboard the teams, and then like new people who join, and yeah, the challenge of properly onboarding somebody or activating them might exponentially grow against us, meaning it requires a lot of effort to push everybody to start using this. Then there is this magical moment when it just works, and you have self regulating teams that actually, when somebody doesn't write a ticket for that or something, then it's ruining the productivity of the rest of the team. So everybody is ensuring that the tool is used correctly, but it sure takes a lot of determination to get there. So let's see how ClickUp is handling this, and if there's anything we can do to help them take their users to this level. Because once again, the main message is it's an amazing tool. It is really a tool for everything and for everyone. But the problem is that when you have a tool for everything and for everyone, it is very difficult to communicate, because, like, probably that's the reason why it took me 4 attempts to try.
Yeah.
because like I've really felt like, oh no, my use case is so unique. Like you don't you cannot even imagine how difficult it is, right? On my end. And yeah, like I understand that in a video it all looks interesting, but but when the rubber hits the road, like it's difficult to set up, right? So the activation is challenging. How can we help with this activation so that when I have the aha moment, when I have the habit moment, I really get hooked and I get to use this and popular and make it popular within the company for others to use it as well. Cool. And also, I've been like following them for quite some time. Yesterday, I've seen the post of Zeb Evans, the founder, CEO. I believe that out of Fortune 500, only 85 or so. So like over 400 companies already use ClickUp. This goes in line with what I've seen recently. For quite some time, they've been hiring a lot of sales reps. In my mind, ClickUp was always like started as a product-led growth company. But then when I was onboarding or like buying subscription, I was actually talking to a sales rep. And I think that their focus on bigger companies further states or proves that they are hiring people to help onboard the bigger companies, right? And at the same time, I think when we look into their ads, like for example on Meta, we can see that they still have plenty of ads, like hundreds, I don't know, three,
Yeah.
four, 500 ads. In my head, like, and of course, it would be amazing to hear from ClickUp, like their perspective, but it sounds like they still have the product-led growth foot, let's say. They have the second leg on sales led to the enterprises, and yeah, let's maybe have a look at their ads and see what can we do to what is it that they're focusing on, where do they send their people from those ads,
Yeah, I just
what's
pulled
the
up
messaging.
their ads, and they have like 390 ads currently running.
Awesome. Wow.
At least that's what Meta showing me. So there might
Cool.
be.
Can you share the screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, almost
So
400 ads. That means that it's sizable. I mean, it's probably quite important channel for them to drive users from those. And I remember seeing those ads, and very often they're like super funny. And I remember them, for example, firing Jira. This was like way back. But I think they also have user-generated content and a lot of ads about specific features, right?
yeah. Yeah, I noticed that as well. They talk a lot about the features. And the UGC part is also quite extensive, I would say. That's like, I think it works. I think it might be working well for them, as UGC usually does.
So I see that like I'm looking at creatives and thinking about Andromeda. I think that so of course Andromeda is the algorithm that Meta uses to match ads versus like with the right audiences. Right now, creative is the best targeting. And there are people who are in different kind of states of mind. They want to see the analytical or like down to earth creative that explains features and maybe return on investment and so on. There are people who want to see different angles, like from actual users, let's say user generated content, or maybe a bit more emotional, like you get me, so I trust you, and so on. So it's good that there is this variety. I still feel like there is a lot, like the messaging is mostly about the product and features, and when it comes to this tool is so big that it made me feel overwhelmed for so long, right? So what I like personally think it would be amazing to add on top of those. It's amazing with Andromeda because they'll add more creatives. and Andromeda knows whom to show what. And the best way to expand your audiences is actually still to go with broad targeting, but add new types of creatives. I think that, and we've had this discussion not long ago. You've mentioned what you like about the ads done by Hormozy, right? Can you mention, because I think it would apply here if we could look at different groups.
Yeah.
How does he do that?
Yeah, what I noticed about the ads for ClickUp, like their messaging is clearly the everything app for everything, right? And the targeting is like seems from the creatives and the content, it seems also quite broad, like everything for everyone. And this reminds me of the ads that I liked about from Hormozy, the ones they run for school. And what I liked when I saw what I liked when I saw school ads was that they were targeting specific fields. So, for example, I was in Poland and it showed me an advertisement that was saying, "We're looking for school. If you're a Polish, if you know Polish, we want you on school as a teacher, right?" Or something like I saw it, and I went to their ads library to check them out, and I saw like many of those ads and all kinds of different fields. So instead of targeting broadly everyone, they were targeting broadly, but the creatives were specifically for one like persona and person.
How would it work for ClickUp then?
I think that they target everybody. So I think they could split split into groups and, for example, target specifically the marketing team or the developers team. I think that, well, there is on the market also there is, for example, Linear, which I think is their competitor from the developers side.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Yeah, and Linear positions themselves as like the tool for developers and for project management, right? So it's specifically for project
yes.
management, and I think the clarity of that resonates more and hits the target more. Well, ClickUp, yes, it's a great app, but then it's quite for everybody. And when I see the ad, when I'm, scrolling through the feed, yeah, I see it and it's great, but then like it's for everybody's. And my case is so specific that, that
But it can still be for everybody, but it could be communicated as like, okay, it is for me, right?
yeah,
So it's not about like I think that the messaging is diluted when you say it's for everybody, but when you say it is for you to everybody separately,
yeah,
then it gets so much more powerful, right?
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what school does. And I think it could work here as well.
Awesome, awesome. I agree. I think that, but then it actually would create one more challenge. So let's assume that you leverage the strength of Andromeda, right? I mean, it's beautiful that when you play it right, it will show to the right person the right message. But then you need to send them somewhere, right? And they click on the ad, and I've seen ClickUp using mostly like I think learn more a call to action, right? So then where do they take them? Because when you have thousands of different creatives and angles, where do you send them? Because you would probably they would need to land in a personalized experience as well. It would be really weird if you told me that it's a tool for, let's say, growth teams, and I would land on a generic landing page, right? I would feel disconnect. I would not feel that it's for me. How do we make sure that it is either quickly adjusted to your needs, like as the user or as visitor, or it's personalized. It's at a massive scale.
Yeah, so I've noticed that they send people. So when I was checking, I think when I saw the ad previously and I clicked on ClickUp, it sent me to like a number of different landing pages. So I tried to pull up the landing page from the ad, and it just sends me to this page from like every single ad. But I remember when I saw ClickUp ads previously, they had different landing pages.
Yep.
But what I noticed about this is that they mostly talk about the features.
Okay.
So
That's true. So
it's good, but it doesn't like poke me. It doesn't resonate with my
okay. Got it. In the meantime, I've opened a few of those ads that landing pages. Let me share the screen on my end as well. So here's one for ClickUp Brain that is focused on their AI and agents and explaining how those work. Another one, and they actually have okay. There's another one for agents over here. Then they do have. That's, I believe, another version of what you've shown before. It's exactly the same, and this is the most. Okay, just like this is so this is another type of a landing page that is focusing on calendar, the specific feature. And we've seen plenty of versions of this one. Create infinite productivity. You've shown the different header. So they did this, but then most of the ads sent to this landing page, and frankly, it gives me the impression that it's for everything, and it overwhelms myself personally. I would love to understand all of those at my own pace. Meaning, I would, if it was if I was talking to a person, right? I'm trying to maybe think of an ideal case scenario. I would probably if I was talking to a person, if they had a sales rep for every single visitor, what I would expect is maybe holding my hand, like almost. They would ask me who am I, what are my problems, and then show me the right benefits for me. Not even features, but like what does it mean for me? And then they would hold my hand when I'm onboarding, right? I think that so. For example, from my experience in Booksy, we've had fairly complex onboarding, right? So you were a beauty provider and you had to create your business with Booksy. So when I was in charge of growth at Booksy, we also had a challenge with activation where it took quite some time to create the account. It took quite some time it took at least an hour to create your listing, and if you wanted to do it properly, and so on. And you had to create a habit of using the new tool. What we've learned was the easiest way to onboard people is to do as many things for them. So, for example, when I remember how I was setting up my own ClickUp, right, and I had to brainstorm, like first understand the entire structure, and then brainstorm what spaces do I create, what kind of docs, dashboards, and so on. Over time, I've learned that I actually like whiteboards, right? I want to use this. We can leverage the chat. But when all of those was listed on a single landing page, I was like, where do I even start? So ideally, somebody would guide me. Well, first, maybe understand me, the very me, not it's for everybody, but like it's for you, Tomek, right? And like, oh, I understand that like you're running a company, you have those types of challenges. We get it. This is the right setup for you. Like, follow me step by step and like create those spaces, creates those kind of I don't know, dashboards and automations. Yeah, this would give me on one hand confidence, like it would remove friction on activation. It would increase my confidence and motivation to try it out. So when motivation is higher and friction is lower, the conversion goes up, right? So this is what I would recommend. I would look for ways to personalize at scale the messaging and then the onboarding. Now the main question is like, how would you do that? Like, is it possible? Because everybody's using landing pages for the past 2 decades. The same with performance marketing. I think that the creatives are like very nice, like funny and so on. Adding additional angles or like further personalizing those would totally not be an issue for a company like ClickUp. Then what can we do to personalize the onboarding experience or what happens after the click?
So the idea that came up to my head first the most obvious one, they already do it kind of in one way or another, is obviously different landing pages. But then not only differentiating the landing pages, well, connecting the landing page to the person that we are targeting. So just like with school, where they were targeting, I don't know, people people who speak Polish, the landing page could be also targeted. So if they target project managers with a certain ad, then the whole landing page and the whole onboarding experience could also be tied to this specific person. So not only, even going beyond the landing page, not only the landing page, but also the onboarding experience. So when we know that somebody is a project manager, a company as huge as ClickUp probably already knows better their users than we do. So they could personalize the onboarding for them, knowing that somebody is a project manager, and maybe stripping or hiding some features for them.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah, just to make the onboarding experience easier. Another idea could be even implementing a chatbot onboarding, or something like, yeah, step-by-step onboarding is also nice. The idea is to like explore and personalize the app for the person that is starting to use it. The challenge I think they would have, because from when I was starting to use ClickUp, I remember that I managed to get into the platform very quickly. And I think that may be one of their focus points, which is getting people quickly to the platform to use it, to actually get value from it. But then when I arrived, there was just so much stuff that, I was quite lost. And I think that personalizing based on the person we are targeting, and showing the user the stuff that they can utilize in their specific use case would benefit them.
You know what I'm thinking? So I'm trying to connect the dots between again, tool that is for everybody. We want to translate it into tool that is for you, right? And then personalizing at scale. And then we see that there acquisition, like one of the acquisition channels at least, is performance marketing on Meta, and we want to recommend further, like increasing the number of creatives to make it feel like it's really exactly for me, to make it like focus on a on the receiving party, on a person, maybe not so much even on the features. And or on top of the communication about features, we would add the one for specific personas. And then we need to connect it into the experience as if I was onboarded by an actual person that really cares about my success, about understanding me, and shows me how to succeed with this tool, and so it takes me step by step into the aha, into like through the setup moment to aha moment to habit moment. And we've done this before. We've seen it work like amazingly, like over 60% conversion lift when we have A/B tested the, let's say, the old way of sending people from the same creatives to landing pages versus when we were sending them to chat, right? Still on Meta, like people would not have to leave Meta. If they're on Instagram, they would go to DMs. If they're on Facebook, they would go to Messenger, and we can send them to WhatsApp, right? And they still have the same creative. They click on it, they go straight to chat, and the chat engages them. And the landing page is something you kind of receive passively, as if you were reading it, like watching a TV, right? But the chat, when it's properly set up and automated, it will engage them to try to understand them, right? It can ask about what is it that they're struggling with, like what's the most difficult about their job, or maybe it could engage them a bit more with like specific tips or other different possible openings. What was very, very interesting for me was that thanks to the widespread adoption of LLMs, people are actually happy to talk to a properly structured chat. They feel like they can go straight to the point, ask the right questions. They don't feel like they're being judged, that they're not afraid of saying what they really think, or like cut the BS, like tell me like how much is it, and so on. So people are happy to engage with the chat. Secondly, when it's properly structured, it will provide them with the right information. Don't overwhelm me with like number of features. Tell me just the one benefit that will help me, right?
Exactly.
Then instead of waiting for the sales rep to respond in a day, it is immediate. We've even run A/B tests, and we've tested about like artificial delays by a few minutes and so on. The conversion, it goes like through the roof when it's responding immediately. And then there's one more benefit, that when people stop responding, life gets into like in their way, like it is possible to follow up with them, right? When you buy ads from Meta, like when you send them to landing page, you have one shot, right? When they bounce, and 90% of people will bounce, there's nothing you can do except for buying the same traffic again, right? When you send them to chat, you get to follow up, which gives you so many more chances to onboard them properly. All of those add up to conversion lifts. We've seen it again. Well, 60% lift. Like we've seen like different angles, like or different values. Very often, even like infinite lift, meaning that the only campaigns that converted were to chat. Of course, it is critical, like it really depends on how the chat is structured, right? Like how do you improve the conversions? Similarly to, you can have like just like ClickUp, around like probably 300 sales reps, right? Like there'll be some that have better scripts than others, or they feel more natural, and or they go well with specific types of respondents, and you would have to perfect those scripts. So in my experience, in our experience, the path to the right script is similarly to any agile kind of workflow or loop, like build, measure, learn. So you need to be able to quickly learn from your conversations, right? And we've been vibe scripting before, right? Like I think this is absolutely like the new thing that will make personalized conversations at scale possible. The ability to easily improve scripts and automate those conversations for your target audiences. And I was thinking like maybe we could, yeah, vibe script something like this for ClickUp.
Yeah,
Maybe have a look like how it would look for them. Maybe V1, of course. We don't have their experience, but we could try to do it from outside in. Like how would we go about that?
yeah, totally. I was thinking, just to build up on your point. I think that ClickUp is a product that would especially benefit from implementing something like a chatbot, something like chat from ads, like click to chat in their ads, just because the product is so huge. I land on the landing page and then I see that it helps in everything, but how will this help me in my specific case? And then I can't ask a landing page a question.
Yeah.
And if I could, maybe it would help me understand um, how the platform works, how ClickUp works, and use it.
There's also another, I think, good reason to couple those solutions, meaning ClickUp has added their is betting on AI themselves, right? And which is by the way amazing. When you have all the context in one tool, that's when AI has something to like has a better chance of providing value, right? When you have all the docs, all the history of like tasks and conversations and so on in one place. At the same time, the landing page is still from like web 2.0, right? Or like, I don't know, like it's static. The experience of clicking on the ad and talking to an AI that says, like, I'm your onboarding assistant. I'm here to check if this is for you, to guide you how to set it up yourself in the tool. I think this is such an natural connection that actually once I'm in ClickUp and I have all the context in there and I ask ClickUp or like ask the team how are we doing with the next, I don't know, with the project that we're about to launch, or the next feature, are we okay for the deployment? Their AI will respond to me, right? So why shouldn't an AI help with an onboarding still in the platform of my choice as a potential buyer on Instagram, for example, or WhatsApp? I think this would go hand in hand, and people could always come back to this chat and ask, like, this is the challenge that I have, like, how do I structure my spaces and so on, or ClickUp could proactively approach them asking, did they manage to create their ClickUp account? Did they manage to set up spaces to onboard users and so on?
Yeah, I think the relationship with the user would benefit hugely, not only from the personalization side, but also from like being onboarded nicely. And specifically for my case, this is like from the personalization side, engage and seeing how it would work for me.
Absolutely. And also, when it comes to follow up, something that we've also seen working is at the beginning of the conversation, we identify their problem, right? And usually it's a huge problem. ClickUp solves like very, very big problem for any manager, right? And then I might not be in the right place to solve it right away when I've seen the ad, right? But with the follow up, you can put salt into the wound, right? Like, you could ask, like, okay, so I don't know, 10 hours passed. Like, did you manage to get a hold of all like your projects, or you're still overwhelmed with the tasks, right? Because by now the brain would already help you structure everything, right? Like, I mean, maybe the first aha moment, depending on persona, of course, right? But if you are overwhelmed, if you were not either not using the tool before, or you were using the previous ones but they were not solving your problem, for example, like I switched to a ClickUp from Asana, we had not solved our problems with Asana. So I was still subconsciously feeling that I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what is the next task, or like how is the team performing, right? Specific tasks. After identifying this, like at the beginning of conversation with me, when somebody was like, would be coming back to me with questions, am I still experiencing this problem? Because here is a solution that you could use, like starting for free or like for free at all. This would totally get my attention. It would improve my motivation. It would decrease the friction for me to start. And I guess for me personally, the aha moment would be like, I feel I'm in control. Like, it doesn't mean that I've resolved all the issues, right? But I'm in control. I know what's going on, and now I have all the info in one place. It's not that somebody told me on Slack what I should, like, they will do something, but it's not reflected on Asana, and so on, right? That's for persona like me. There's so many other personas that could benefit from this kind of approach. So we would need to simply design paths for each of those and quickly identify for every specific, like every user separately, we would personalize the approach.
Yeah, so I pulled up quickly some context for ClickUp, just like
Amazing.
quick context for ClickUp. And let's see. So this is one proposition of how ClickUp would how ClickUp's agent could work. How what agent they could have straight from their ads.
So now you're like, tell us what you're doing. Where are you?
Yeah, so I'm just setting up quickly the agent for ClickUp
On Boosted
on
Chat, right?
Boost Chat platform. Just doing it pretty quickly. Actually, I was putting it in the in the wrong agent. So let's create a new one. Let's add a new uh yeah, something relatable. Just ClickUp. All right. And then yeah, the source ClickUp and this quick description of what I copied from Perplexity. This like doesn't really matter that much because, well, Boosted chat will scrape the website anyway. Let's put it for the testing number and let's save it. And then we'll be able to test it in right away in a second through WhatsApp. All right, it's saved, so we should be able to test it now.
Awesome. So it would actually be amazing to see, to take it for a spin, how the conversation goes. Once again, the challenge we've identified for ClickUp, it's an app for everybody that solves a lot of problems, which is true, which is amazing, which is also very difficult to communicate and onboard. So what we're recommending is to personalize at scale the conversations with every like single potential client so that they can identify, they can express their own concerns and like first their own challenges, then concerns, and then they would have a personalized onboarding assistant that is still in the platform of their choice that helps them onboard into ClickUp.
So we're going to test this on WhatsApp just for quick,
Uh-huh.
check. And yeah, let's do a ClickUp test. And then the opening that ClickUp could have would be
They wouldn't have to write ClickUp test, right? Like it's just
no.
simulating them clicking on the ad, right?
Yeah, it's just like if they would click on the app, so on the ad, so they would have this. So yeah, what brings us to ClickUp today? And yeah, we can follow with this. Or actually change this opening a little bit. So what I'm thinking is that what we want to catch with the opening is the curiosity of the person and the problem
Yeah.
they. So to do this, let's quickly come back to our boosted. Okay, yeah. So we can do the iteration quickly. So we wanted to add that after knowing person's problem, let's suggest and start the setup. Is that, you think it's all right?
Knowing person's problem, so after learning person's problem, so maybe set up, mention that it's about ClickUp, right? Like how to set up ClickUp for them. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, it'll work.
All right. So yeah, then we save it and do the iteration. Okay, cool. And yeah, let's go back to our WhatsApp. Yeah, and what was the issue that you wanted to mention?
So I'm overwhelmed with all the project management and I don't feel in control. I'm currently on Asana.
All right, cool. And so yeah, let's send this, and it should follow the script that we had here. So it now knows the problem.
Okay, so it understands me, right? Like it's said it back to me, like what it is, and it's a normal, like it's like people do feel that way, and that's why we have a ClickUp.
Yes. And then it asked me further in the like discovery.
Okay, I would say that it doesn't reflect what my team says on Slack.
Cool.
Meaning, yeah.
Okay, so it mentions Slack. Yeah, mentions ClickUp and the communication part.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it talks further.
So now it asks me for like it simply wants me to feel the pain. I think that we can of course further vibe script this, but what I like about this is like understood what I'm doing, what's my problem, and now it kind of pours salt into the wounds trying to understand what is really the biggest problem. I think we could drive it towards onboarding and maybe understanding what kind of setup works and what kind of, for example, spaces to have in ClickUp. But I think that there's no need for us to go into like all the possible conversation directions. I think it would be actually amazing if we could, to anybody who's interested, we could provide them with an option to test it themselves, and if they, so they can take it in any direction they want. Please feel free. Wherever you see this video, please feel free to comment with how would you adjust the script yourself. And I think that the most powerful thing about this is that we have the amazing tool that is for everybody, that helps with everything, but we communicate it in a way that it is exactly for you, and it helps you with your problem, and it guides you, it holds you by hand, it guides you how to set it up and get the value from this. And it's done in the chat of your choice or on the platform of your choice. It understands you, it does follow-ups and so on, and it's immediate, it's responding immediately. Awesome. We should probably also, Adam, put together like a doc, I don't know, Notion or something, for anybody who wants to read our recommendations, how we understood the problem of ClickUp. And if you're working at ClickUp, feel free to let us know if we misunderstood. This is how we've interpreted your situation from the outside, but let us know. It would be amazing to hear your thoughts and get your feedback on how to set it up better. But yeah, anybody who's interested, feel free to screen through the doc and ask questions on how, or recommend how to set it up better. We're super eager to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, totally. So again, if you want to go back to what we discussed in this video, there will be a Notion doc, and you can check the strategy and the framework we made for ClickUp. So feel free to check it out and let know your thoughts, have any. And I think, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Then thanks for that. Was pleasure. We should do it again sometime.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah,
how
have a
it
good one.
we'll see how it turned out. Thanks.